Hey, joining me now, I want to bring in Landsberg, Bennett, their private wealth management CIO, Michael Landsberg. Michael, what are the tools I want to ask that you yourself use so you're not necessarily sucked into these narratives, because ultimately they do often lead to big investing mistakes?
They do, Charles, and you're exactly correct. I mean, one of the first things is people have to have, and as portfolio managers we do, have a written investment process and have it really focused around risk. What level of risk do I have? Almost like a risk budget. What am I going to kind of spend, if you will, in terms of risk that I'm willing to risk my capital to make money? And a written policy is important because when you write anything down, we all know studies show you're more successful, whether it's goals, whether it's whatever. So a written investment policy is very important. And secondly, we focus on reported numbers, reported data, not kind of the talking points and the buzzwords. You know, in the day and age where a lot of the CEOs and even the Fed chairman kind of have some P.T. Barnum salesman qualities, looking at reported data keeps you away from some of the narratives around inflation going up or down. The robo-taxis are going to come out next week or next year. You kind of stay out of that by having reported data.
You know, so real quick, we've got it up here for the board. I really want the audience to see this. Have a written investing process. This is so amazing right here. Focus on reported data, right? Not the talking points, but the reported data. Be disciplined, emotionless execution, regular rebalancing, and periodically review your strategy. I think these are all absolutely phenomenal. I want everyone, make sure you screen save this right now. Let's talk about, of course, the big narrative this year has been the tariff stuff. And you say that that's sort of sucked the oxygen out of the room. And people have missed what's really happened. In this case, earnings for the S&P and the NASDAQ have been pretty good.
Absolutely. And what's happened is, and again, part of that is the media narrative is the tariffs. What are they going to do? Interestingly enough, the earnings market hasn't seen that. S&P earnings are up 12% year over year. NASDAQ earnings are up 23% year over year. Now, I do think they slightly decelerate a little bit in the next quarter, but those are strong earnings, and that's the reason stocks are continuing to do well, at least selected stocks, because the earnings are there. And we've heard a lot of times they're not going to be there, but the reality is reported earnings are definitely there, and they've shown up very well this quarter.
One thing I read that was intriguing to me is that you're not a fan necessarily of the Mag 7. You think everyone is just too overweight them, anyone from novice to professional investors. You point out something I've talked about on this show, too, and I think people will be surprised. Year to date, the 11 S&P sectors, what's really killing it? Utilities and industrials, right? Those are sectors. They're not sexy, but they're providing some big returns, aren't they?
Absolutely. And that's typically what a rebalancing program does for you. Having that discipline is not to get sucked into the narrative of, oh, this AI thing is going to go on forever. It will do well, but realistically, taking the time to take your portfolio back to a weighting, allocating to the stuff that is technically underperformed will do well. And it's not only been in this country, obviously utilities, industrials, but also in Europe. Europe's done very well for the same reason because people have kind of perceived that it's not doing well. It's actually rallied quite significantly this year.
Let's talk specific ideas now because you've got three stocks. So I'm going to tell you this next Era Energy, I made a bundle on it when it used to be Florida Power and Light during the Obama administration. It didn't do as well under Biden. You like it here, though?
I do. It's kind of an easy story. It's a regulated utility that's Florida Power and Light. But one of the things I like about it is Florida's been either number one or number two the last 5 years for people moving here. They do have a phenomenon up north called winter, and it gets cold and nasty, and people want to come to Florida. Lots of new customers, and it hasn't moved yet. And I think that's an opportunity in this market. Can I find things that aren't at all-time highs to be able to buy? And they've got a good demographic story, not going to be affected by tariffs.
So I got less than 30 seconds. We know Chubb Insurance kind of speaks for itself, but Axon, this is the taser maker, right? They used to have a different name. I remember thinking this was an easy slam dunk years ago. I bought it, made some money. I got out way too early. But this seems extended. This seems a little bit extended. Why do you think it will keep going higher?
We've had this for 2 years. Really, the taser is one part of the business. What we like is the body cam business. I don't see anybody stepping away from body cams. It grows 30% a year every year, and it's only a $60 billion market cap. We've had it for 3 years, almost 3 years. We think we're going to own it for the next 3 to 5 years because police departments are not going away from this.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's been so instrumental. And I really think it's helped, net been a real help for the police departments as well as the public. Michael, Thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate it. Love that list you gave us at the start. All right, so now